What is a New Zealand yam and how do you grow them? Today I'm going to show you. G'day there, I'm Dana from Pewakaka Valley Homestead. Today I am planting all my root crops and I'm doing a series of videos on all the different ones that I'm putting in the ground. Today's one is about oca, also known as the New Zealand yam, and this is the more common one that you can buy in the store. I literally bought this one from the supermarket to use as a seed yam, and these are the smaller yellow ones that you can also get. So I'm going to be planting these, and I also have a few from a heritage range that I already had in the garden, but they didn't do so well because the chickens got into them. So they're a little bit smaller, but I'm going to plant those as well. New Zealand yams, also known as oca, their official name is Oxalis tuberosa, which sounds a bit like something from Harry Potter. But anyway, I can eat them raw. They're kind of a little bit lemony, I guess, like any Oxalis. I really love them cooked, roasted. When you roast them, they become this interesting combination of sweet and sour all in together. Another popular way of doing them is sprinkling them with a little bit of brown sugar and some balsamic vinegar and roasting that. Delicious. But just with a roast lamb or something, these are my favourite roast vegetables. So I'm going to be growing a lot of them. Like most tubers or root crops that you plant the tuber and they just keep growing, you kind of want to grow them in their own garden bed. So I haven't grown a huge number of them yet because I've been waiting to develop this other garden bed. So they will have a designated garden bed that it doesn't matter if I miss the tiny little ones, because even the tiniest little yam will regrow the next season. And so if you are doing crop rotation and rotating them around your bed, eventually your garden's just going to be full of them. So I've decided I'll have a designated bed. You do grow them quite similarly to a potato. The bed I've prepared already has a lot of manure on it, and then it's got some bedding over the top. So I'll plant these down in the manure layer. And then it's got some old bedding on the top from the chicken house, which will slowly break down as the season goes along. And then I'm going to protect them from the chickens this year, so I'll show you how I'm going to do that as well. You'll never guess what, I was just walking along here and found a tiny little yam just lying on the ground. So I'm going to plant it as well. This was from last year. The chickens must have found it and dug it up. Planting oca is really easy. You just want, if it's got any sprouts, to make sure the sprouts are pointing up. You want to be planting them about 4 inches, 10 centimeters deep. And I've got about 4 inches of compost, and then on top of that is this, which is about 4 inches of old chicken bedding that I'm using as a mulch. It's not necessary, but it's what we have, so that's what we're putting here. But I will be planting this down into the compost layer below. You don't want to be planting into this woody based mulch. It sucks all the nitrogen away and the plants just won't grow. So I'm going to be digging down. The trowel is about 4 inches, 10 centimeters long, so I'm dig down to the bottom of there and throw this down into the hole and cover it up. Really easy. And then I'm going to be doing the same as the garden bed behind, which I've run 2 rows of drip tape, which runs off of our grey water system, and then chuck some bird netting over the top to keep away the blackbirds and the chickens, and hopefully the pigs. I'm hoping the pigs won't get in here, but just in case. They do tend to go digging for tubers. So I'm going to pop these in the ground. I'll put them between 25 and 30 centimeters apart, so that's just shy of a foot apart. And so for me that means I can get pretty much 3 across one of these garden beds because they're about 3 foot wide. That's all there is to it. No mulching up, no fluffing around, just leave them to grow. They'll grow little leafy bits. They are frost tender, so you want to be doing this pretty close to your, it's windy, pretty close to your last frost date, if not after your last frost date. Our last frost date's probably in about 2 weeks here, so they won't have broken the surface by then. If you do get some late frost, throw some frost cloth over the top because it will kill off the tops, but they'll usually come away again. And yeah, you just leave them to grow. Make sure they're getting plenty of water later in the season as they're starting to tuber up. when the tops die back, that's when you harvest them. I hope you found this video really useful. If you have, hit the like button, consider sharing it with anyone else that you think might find it useful, and consider subscribing to our channel. We bring you videos twice a week on growing and preserving your own food and other homesteading bits and pieces. We'll see you in the next one.